During the end of practice, Azeez Ojulari ended up pulling up lame while doing sprints, and he had to be helped off the field by a couple of trainers, and that just gave a big-time scare to the New York Giants fans as well as the coaching staff at first because it didn't look very pretty. Well, we just got an update on the condition of Azeez Ojulari, and it ends up being much better news than what initially thought of when on the field the injury actually happened. As Ian Rappaport of NFL.com has reported that Azeez Ojulari underwent an MRI just a little while ago, and he's been diagnosed with a lower body injury, but it looks like that overall he's going to be okay, which probably means he's going to be missing a minimal amount of time and should be able to get back on the field well before Week 1 against the Tennessee Titans, which is big-time news for the New York Giants, as they already had a big-time injury scare a few days ago during the game against the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday night when Kayvon Thibodeau went down with a knee issue. And now you have the scare today with Azeez Ojulari. So the New York Giants getting a couple of good injury diagnoses lately after they've suffered a couple of bad ones. So at least this means that the New York Giants possibly will have both Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau ready by Week 1 against the Tennessee Titans come September 11th. So we just have to hope that if, in fact, Azeez Ojulari goes in for a second opinion on an MRI on the low body injury, that nothing else gets picked up. But at least coming back from the first initial reports is that Azeez Ojulari has, in fact, escaped any type of major injuries going on. It is right now being diagnosed as a lower body injury for Azeez Ojulari. There is not a distinct timetable about how much time he could possibly miss, if at all. He could potentially be back to practice tomorrow and be ready to play in the last preseason game against the New York Jets at 1 o'clock on Sunday, if in fact it's not really deemed anything too serious. And at least with the initial reports that are coming back, it seems like Azeez Ojulari will be back on the field in a matter of days, if anything. So that's some good injury news you have from the New York Giants, who have right now, there's been a lot of injuries. Team has been banged up and down lately, but as of lately, in terms of major injuries with the team, don't get crazy. This is not a jinx or anything. In terms of any big-time key players, the New York Giants have actually gotten very lucky when it comes to injury news, and the Giants have been relatively healthy with their key players out there. So we just got to hope that the New York Giants can escape the injury bug going forward, and that we just Azeez Ojulari, Kayvon Thibodeau, and all the rest of the banged-up players can get healthy and get ready for the first game of the season come September 11th, September 11th in Tennessee against the Titans. And obviously during practice today, you loved what you hear and you love what you saw from the offense today. Just going over a quick little update on the offense. Daniel Jones was on fire today. He had completed 14 of 16 passes in the scrimmages and 7-on-7 practices. He actually looked pretty good when it came to the red zone drills. He hit 6 passes to David Sills. He was able to spread the ball all around, including passes to Saquon Barkley, Kenny Golladay, Richie James, and of course, Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson, and David Sills himself. So Daniel Jones was spreading the ball around really well. He was on target with his passes. Saquon Barkley looked really good with his running style out there. You have to like what you see from the offensive line, especially at least from Andrew Thomas, as well as Jamil Douglas looked like he had a very good practice overall. The secondary, they had a little bit of struggles against Elijah Moore, but Elijah Moore is one of the better young receivers in the NFL, and it looks like, just like the New York Giants fans are expecting from Kadarius Toney, Jets fans are probably expecting the same from Elijah Moore over there in New York. So can't really fault them completely. Elijah Moore is just a different type of talent, but overall, the New York Giants look like they were getting some good pass rush on the Jets offense. Jets offense was a mixed bag overall. Giants offense looked like they were clicking on all cylinders today. Sure, some of the offensive linemen were a little bit suspect in when their one-on-one drills, like when it was offensive line versus defensive line. But overall, the best news of the day so far is that Azeez Ojulari, who had to depart the end of practice and be helped off the field by a couple of trainers, had an MRI just a little bit while ago, and it looks like that the Giants escaped with. It looks like Azeez Ojulari escaped without major injury, and that's great news to hear for the New York Giants and their fans going forward. So we can all breathe a big sigh of relief and know that 51 should be okay, and he should be ready by the time the New York Giants kick off their season in Tennessee, September 11th. So that's just my quick little injury update, as well as some news and notes that happened at practice today for the New York Giants in their first joint practice against the New York Jets. They're going to have another joint practice coming up tomorrow, probably an off day on Saturday before they prepare for the last preseason game on Sunday at 1 p.m. at MetLife Stadium. And then, of course, the New York Giants are going to have to cut down their roster from 80 to 53 as they get ready for the beginning of the season in a couple of weeks. So it's a lot of maneuvering and adjusting and everything, but you love what you heard from Daniel Jones today. So the Daniel Jones detractors, you got to sit down, you got to not say anything, because right now, Daniel Jones looked good today. Daniel Jones has been on target lately. Sure, take it with a grain of salt. Be careful. You know, it is still practice. It is still just training camp. But what you like to see right now is that Daniel Jones looks more confident in this offense. He's looking way more poised. He's got a really good connection with some of his wide receivers. And, of course, the wide receivers today all looked and performed well. Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton had a beautiful sideline catch from Tyrod Taylor today, the highlight catch of the day. So, big time respect to Darius Slayton. He's probably going to be earning himself a roster spot. David Sills and Daniel Jones continue to have that special connection, and it looks like David Sills might be really making a case for some strong playing time during the regular season. So that's what you love to hear. You love to hear that Daniel Jones right now is picking up the momentum in training camp. He's getting adjusted to this offense. He's looking confident in his throws. And you know what? You might not love Daniel Jones, but you have to give the guy credit. He's at least going out there and he's performing pretty well. So I like what I see from the offense so far. Let's hopefully they can, if the starters end up playing for a little bit in the last preseason game, let's just hope the momentum can continue. It's that second joint practice against the New York Jets as we go forward for the rest of this training camp and the last preseason game this coming Sunday. So that's just my little injury update on Azeez Ojulari, as the Giants got good news on surrounding him. And just a little bit of practice notes today from the New York Giants overall in their joint practice against the Jets. So if you guys like this video, please hit the like button below. Subscribe if you haven't already to NYG Jeffy T 3285 for more breaking news updates, chatter, and roster updates, as well as injury updates surrounding the New York Football Giants, as well as other news and updates surrounding the Brooklyn Nets, New York Mets, WWE Wrestling, as well as food for thought. Turn on the bell for notifications on when the next video or short's going to be dropping on the channel. And let me know in the comment section how you feel about the joint practices that you watched today with the Giants and the Jets. If you were very, very pleased overall with what you saw from Daniel Jones in the offense, as well as the offensive line and the defense. And, of course, the biggest news of the day, Azeez Ojulari looks like he escaped major injury, and the Giants won't have to worry about losing one of their prime defensive players on the roster going forward. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your Thursday evening. Take it easy, and let's go New York Football Giants. Always remember that it's cool, and make sure we are together blue. Let's go New York Football Giants.